Welcome everybody to the
Welcome,
Prep1
welcome.
Podcast. Prep1 Podcast. This has been a kind of a long time in the making, right? A couple months, a lot of planning going down for
It's
this.
been a little bit wild. Kind of had a few bumps in the road, a few technical difficulties we shall not speak of.
No, but you know what? We'll have all those bugs and technical difficulties worked out by episode 2. But you know what? We're gonna run with it. We have to run with it because this is for the high school athletes. The whole point of this show is to give every athlete a voice, no matter what the sport you play, whether it be football, volleyball, cross country, swimming, everything across the board. We're gonna try to get a voice out for every single one of you guys.
Exactly. That's the thing we want to do. We are your voice here in the state of Texas. For whatever reason, El Paso's the, unwanted child here. Never gets credit when credit's due, and that's what we want to do. We want to get your voices out there. We want to get your highlights, your stats, you out there. There's a lot of talent here in El Paso, all across the board, not just in your popular football and basketball, but every single sport we have here. That's what we want to do here for you guys.
Exactly. And, before we roll the intro real quick, I'm going to introduce myself. I'm your co-host, Ryan Vidales. Been involved with Prep1 for a while.
I'm your co-host, Jerry Alvarez. New to Prep1, but I'm excited to come aboard and, help these kids out.
All right. And before we get into it, we're going to roll the intro. All right. So we're going to dive right into it because we've got a lot to talk about since, some of the sports and things are already kind of in the swing of things. But before we get to that, the whole point of Prep1 is, to help athletes get recruited. We're trying to market these kids and hopefully, in 4 years or however long their high school careers are, they get to some sort of college, whether it be Division 1, Division 2, Division 3, JUCO, NAIA, it doesn't matter. The way I see it, every single person needs a little recognition when it comes to earning a collegiate scholarship and committing to a school.
Exactly. You said it perfectly, Ryan. These kids, they work hard year-round, all summer, winter break, spring break, and then they get these offers. They go to the next level. College sports is college sports, no matter what level it is. It's very few that make it there.
Exactly. And, we've already got a lot, this class of 2023, these guys have been stellar already. The year has not, really been started. I mean, it's week 2, week 3 for some of these sports. Football's barely going to start week 1, but already you've got, baseball commits, football commits, softball commits. So, real quickly, we're going to give a little recognition to all of these commitments so far. And keep in mind, guys, if you're a high school athlete and you've got offers already or you've already committed to a school, please send that our way. Send us a DM or instant message us. Our handles are on the bottom of the screen right there. Twitter at Prep1 Podcast and Instagram at Prep1 Podcast. Also, please make sure that you guys like and subscribe below. It really helps the show, gain traction. And also, if you're listening to the show and you're not watching the stream, make sure you give us a 5-star rating as well. Because again, it does nothing but helps the show grow.
And guys, you help. Sorry, Ryan, but you help the show grow here. That helps us help you get your voices and everything out there.
Yes, sir. So I'm going to let you go ahead and start with it. Jerry, as far as the 23 committed watch list, let's go with softball. We got one.
Okay. For softball, right here, we got Annalise Zubia out of Americas High School. Her commitment currently is to EPCC. Homegrown, wants to stay home. EPCC does have great sports out there. It's a great stepping stone if she does want to go to that next level of D2, D1, D3 even.
Hey,
And,
and
staying home is great.
and she's one of those members of the Final Four
Exactly.
team at America. So that alone has gained a lot of traction. So
And that'll be exciting once softball season comes around. Follow those girls. Hopefully they can do a repeat. If not, get to that next step and get into that state tournament there,
definitely.
that state championship.
And then going into baseball, you got some recent big commits too. The first one also I'm going to mention, and we'll stick with America's High School because you've got two names out of America's High School. You got Steven Sepulveda out of America's High School committing to Baylor.
Baylor Bears.
That's one big commitment right there. He's a right-handed pitcher and one of the top in the state of Texas. So look for him to do some big things this year. That another one is Easton. I hope I don't butcher the last name. Is it Mumau?
Mumau. That's what I'll say. Mumau.
Mumau committed to UT Rio Grande Valley, and he's one of a couple. Actually, we got like two players from the local region that have already committed to UT Rio Grande Valley. So that's another solid baseball player. America's is obviously doing a good job when it comes to getting their athletes recruited, and that's great news. And then I'll also mention the other UT Rio Grande Valley commit, and that is a baseball player out of Riverside High School, Orlando Samaniego. Good two-way player. He's helped Riverside get to the playoffs the last 2 years in a row, and look for him to do some big things out there as well. And then I'll let you run off some of the other baseball commits.
Yeah, next up on the list, you got Dylan Torres out of Pebble Hills High School. Okay. He's committed to Sacramento State. All
D1?
right.
That's D1.
D1 right there. D1. Perfect. Already getting up there, getting looked at. Looks like over the summer, Sacramento State really was impressed by his pitching. And they really said, you know what? We want this guy on our team. He's going to take us big. He's going to take us to where we want to be. Next one up on the list, we got Jalen Ryan out of Andrews High School. He's committed to Eastern Arizona. Okay. There, he's going to be there. It looks like it's going to be a family,
family affair. That's a family affair.
A family reunion. His older brother, Julius, currently pitches at Eastern Arizona. So look for the Ryan brothers there to really, make it big out there in Arizona.
That's always cool, man. That's always really cool when you get to play at the collegiate level with your brother. I think that says a lot.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then you want to go ahead and name these last two, or?
Yeah, sure. I'll go ahead. You got Salvador Rocha, okay, Pebble Hills High School, going to going to New Mexico Junior College currently. Okay, he's very successful junior college program out there in New Mexico. Okay, he's also one of the top players in El Paso. He's a big name in the baseball community. He's looking to make things work out for him.
That Pebble Hill squad going to be good in baseball. You got Dylan out there too. You got Salvador there.
Oh yeah,
that's going to be nasty when it comes to baseball season. Be ready for it.
It's gonna be a fight, that's for sure. You got, and last but not least, you got Barry Miller Jr. Out of Horizon High School. He's going to New Mexico Junior College as well. Okay, that's where he's committed to.
And the lefty.
He's a lefty. The lefty here. He's one of the state's top pitchers. Very hard to hit against. Well received around the state as one of the top pitchers here. And he is looking to do big things and go even bigger.
Right. And then now we get into our football commits. And we save these for last because, to be honest, a lot of you guys probably already know some of these because these are we've been really fortunate in El Paso this year. I can't recall a year where we've had 5 D1 commits already at this point in the year. And, this is only the ones that have committed. We have more people in El Paso that have got offers, but these 5 have already committed. They're ready to go. They can focus on their senior season and moving forward.
Honestly, Brian, that just goes to show right there how big football has become here in El Paso. Here in El Paso, football used to be just You get what you get, be a district champ. Now we're going deep into the playoffs. We got the players, we got the commitments, we got the recruits, and you don't have to be a big name that everyone knows. Okay. You make a name for yourself, you help your team, you get out there. And like you said, honestly, me too. I don't remember the last time we had a year of 5 D1 commits out of football.
Already before the season starts.
Already, exactly. Before the season even started.
Hey, but I'm going to roll with them right now. Right off the bat, first one we're going to mention is out of Andress High School. Northeast is representing, and you got Malcolm Anderson committed to Army West Point. It's one of the top playmakers. Yes, one of the top playmakers in the city. This guy's going to make some noise this year. And the good thing, like I said, it's all focused on football now, baby. He gets to just focus on his sport, has no other distractions. He's ready to go. Want to get the next one?
Yes, sir.
We'll alternate them.
All right. We got this. We got Jaden Wilson out of Austin High School, Central El Paso. Okay, down in the barrio.
Pichardo's got one.
Yes, sir. He's got a commit to University of New Mexico Lobos. Okay, this guy, he's a great running back. He's a great linebacker. He's a two-way player. Okay, you can use him anywhere you need to on the field. He's a freaking workhorse for that Austin Panther team.
Lobos are going to be using him as a linebacker, and he's going to be joining another Lobo commit from last year, Alec Marenko. So, that's kind of cool to see that you're going to have an El Paso linebacking core, hopefully, there in the next few years.
Exactly. Get some El Paso representation out there in that Division I world of college football.
Next player we got on the commitment list, and this one, really doesn't need any introduction. That's L.J. Martin out of Canutillo High School going to Stanford. Okay. This is a big one, and I know he was waiting for this school finally to give that offer. He's committed. He's going to get a great education. He's going to go to a great program, especially for running backs. You've seen what they've done and what they turn out. So, looking down the line, LJ made a great decision. Him and his family, I know, are really excited. And that Stanford commit, that's a big one. That's a big one.
It's huge.
Really helps put, some focus out here and hopefully get more schools to be looking out here in West Texas.
Oh yeah, definitely. These kids are something else, I tell you. Next one on the list, you got Tyrone McDuffie out of Parkland High School, another Northeast representative. This kid, what can you say about this kid? Me, myself, I'm an old lineman at heart. And in life and in everything I've done ever since, I love the old line. And I've always said, you want to look at a winning team, you look at that offensive line right there. They will tell you right away who they are, what they are, and what they're about to do to you. And this kid is big, and he is currently committed to going to play at Colorado with the Buffaloes up there. Okay, look for him to be playing big up there. Eventually, maybe he might go up against L.J. Martin at Stanford, Pac-12 right there. And,
that's going to be a little connection, man. They've been together playing that AAU ball and stuff when they were younger. So that'd be really cool to see them going up against each other on Saturday mornings.
Unfortunately, it won't be across the line. But again, that'd be great to see them on Saturday, like you said, going out there representing El Paso big. And big thing on Tyrone McDuffie, you don't see a whole lot of linemen out of El Paso getting recruited D1. It's just not, unfortunately, we don't got the size over here, but this kid's got the size, he's got the skill, he's got the speed, he's got the aggression, and he's got the attitude.
Exactly. Great kid. You know what? And staying out of the Northeast, I don't know what they're doing out there, but you got another one out of Parkland High School. You know what? Who's really benefiting out of all this is Coach Lay McWhorter. New coach at Parkland, and he's gonna get to inherit 2 D1 commits already in his group. And this next D1 commit is DJ Crest, the receiver. He really bust out on the scene last year, making huge noise as a wide receiver, and he is committed to Texas Tech. So, probably one of the best fits for him there. You're going to go to a school where they're going to throw the ball a lot, probably going to get a lot of looks out there. So if he sets himself apart with that wide receiver core out there, look for him, a year from now to be doing some big things. But
Mhm.
I just want to give a big shout out and congratulations to all of these guys. And another thing, let's give some recognition to the guys that did this before, that have really
Oh, yes,
helped put El
definitely.
Paso on the map. Because if it wasn't for guys, like Aaron Jones, and in baseball you have guys like who?
Ivan
The
Melendez.
Hispanic Titanic.
Yeah.
Guys like these, guys that are really putting El Paso on the map, at a national level, and getting more schools and more attention to here. That's only going to make El Paso athletics grow, and hopefully, you'll start seeing that trickle down effect. More people getting committed as years come to ground. So honestly, big props to you guys. And again, anybody that's being committed or getting offers, please send those our way at Prep1 Podcast on Instagram and on Twitter.
Yes, sir.
So I guess I'll go ahead and segue into the next topic. Just to let you guys know, like I said, this show is going to be a voice for all sports. So, even though it's football season, I've got my co-host Jerry here getting ready to talk about another sport.
Yes, we got this. We got this sport here. Okay, high school I went to here in El Paso. One of these sports out of this high school was cross country, and cross country does not get the recognition it deserves, Ryan.
No, it does not.
And the big part about that, because it falls right smack dab against football season. Okay, everyone loves football, but no one talks about these runners, and these runners make a huge name for themselves year in, year out, but they don't get that recognition because then you get football getting all the coverage and all the glory. Again, that's why we're here. We're going to put you out there. We're going to give you the glory. We're going to get you going here.
Get your name out there.
Yes, sir. Okay, and we're going to start right here with this week's Prep1 Soaring 7. Okay, every week we're going to have a Soaring 7. These guys, these girls, doesn't matter. You all are the ones proving yourselves out there week in, week out. Every week we'll have a different 7.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to stay on that list, you keep doing what you're doing. If you want to be on that list, you do the best and you get out there and be the best, beat the best, make your name out.
And don't be flooding our inboxes with complaints as to why you did not, this is the first one. But like Jerry said, if you guys want to be on that list, you got to show up week in and week out. Goes by your results. So for you runners, you got to improve those times, do good at each meet. And you know what? You're going to put yourself on that list.
You'll get that shout out. Okay. Here's our Soaring 7 for cross country. Okay. We're going to start off right away with Christopher Moreno out of San Eli High School. Okay. A senior. San Eli is a big, big cross country school. Okay. We'll speak more on that in a bit, but he's a big name coming out of there. Great leader. You also got out of Franklin, Miss Alyssa La Espada, another senior. Okay. Yeah. Another part of a great group of girls teams, boys teams, cross country.
I know I heard her name this weekend too, so I know she did good.
That's right. That's right. With that Franklin Invitational.
Let's go.
Next up, you got right here someone who's not really getting the recognition he deserves. Like we said, here in the state of Texas, you guys got to go that extra mile to prove yourself, but you're still making a name for yourself. Out of Tornillo High School.
Woo!
Tornillo, way out there on the east side.
Give some respect to their name, please.
He's a senior. He's a leader. Angel Torres. He preseason was voted 4th team All-State recognition. 4th team. I believe he's 1st team. I believe he's better than so many people. Every year he proves himself, but they put him at 4th team.
You got to give Tornillo a look. They're there. They're representing. Good for them.
Exactly. I feel that just gives them more fuel. That gives them more ammo, more ambition, more, hey, I'm going to prove myself.
Hey, you end the season 1st team All-State. That's the way I see it. You start
yes, sir.
End the season.
Oh, hell yeah. And then now we got Adeline Rodriguez out of Eastwood. Okay. She's a sophomore, the only non-senior out of this Soaring 7. Okay. So it doesn't matter. You don't have to be a senior. You could be any level. You make a name of yourself. You show us what you got, and we love it. People love it. Your name is out there. you're going on here.
You put
And
in
you
that
got
work. You put in that work. You're gonna see the return.
Yes, sir. And she put in that work as a freshman. The state noticed. Okay, they got her in the 6A second team All State preseason rankings.
As a sophomore?
As a sophomore.
Wow.
Sophomore, she's already All State.
Hey, but that just puts a lot more weight on her shoulders, because now you gotta go. That's where you set the bar. So as a sophomore, you set the bar. That means the next 2 years, junior, senior year, you got to see that name first team All State, and you got to keep
first team All State. Not only that, you become the target.
Oh yeah,
you become the leader. You become the first team here in El Paso, here in the state. You're the one to beat. You're the best. Moving forward to two names here in 6A, both of them first team All State out of Pebble Hills, the senior. You got Omer Ibrahim.
I heard his name this weekend too. Weekend.
Big name, does big things. Alongside him, his competitor, they're always competing. They're always head to head. It's going to be fun watching these two the whole season. They're always just right next to each other, neck and neck. You got Luis Pastor out of Coronado High School, another senior. These guys have been going at it since they were freshmen. It's their last hurrah. Okay. The state knows it. We know it. Bring home another title.
That's exciting, man. And then both in 6A, so they're going to compete against each other. That's exciting.
Yes.
Two top talents.
It's just great. These are your Soaring 7 for the first week of this Prep1 podcast. That's your Prep1 Soaring 7. Moving on, we got the teams now. We got the teams here.
These are the ones to watch. These are the ones
to watch. A lot of people think, well, cross country is individual sport. So you got your runners, but who do those runners belong to? You got these teams out here that it's just not, these guys have to compete against their own teammates to be the best. And right here, starting off, I'm going to put these two together because they're part of the same school, part of the same program. You got the Franklin boys and girls cross country teams. Okay,
Cougars
we mentioned earlier. Yes, sir. The Cougars up there. You got these kids just up and coming lately. Franklin is just blowing everyone out of the water. They're made a name for themselves. They're just getting out there, beating everyone. This weekend at the Franklin Invitational, they swept everyone. The girls took first, third, second, and third at the Franklin Invitational. And they are just dominating, and they've made a name for themselves. The boys as well are just going to these competitions and saying, hey, we're here. Now you got to deal with us. It's no longer these household names anymore.
Of course. That's the way they got to do it. That's the only way they can do it.
Yes, sir. And then next, you got the Tornillo boys. Okay, ever since I was in high school, these guys have always been there. They're consistent. Are a cross-country powerhouse here in West Texas.
And they got to get more recognition, man. I know Tornillo's way outside of the city, but really as a school, people got to look out for that. 3A, right? Class 3A?
They are 3A, yes, sir.
Yeah, please respect their name. Tornillo
Coyotes. Yes, we'll look for a state champ coming out of that. I'm predicting it right now. State champs in the near future. Tornillo Coyotes cross country.
Predicting it already, huh?
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Right.
First prediction of the Prep1 podcast.
Going on the podcast. Already. Got it.
Now we go into two top 5 teams here in the state of Texas. These guys got some recognition, but I still think one of them really got snubbed on here. You got out of 6A, the number 5 team in the state, the Eastwood boys. Another consistent team, 5-time medal winners at the state in a row. The past 5 years, they're on the verge of winning that state title as well in 6A.
It's a great consistent program, and that's like the definition of consistency here. Every
yes,
year
sir.
Turn out great programs. Good job out there at Eastwood.
And the one that truly got snubbed, your defending state champions, San Elizario Eagles 4A at number 2 in the state. Number 2.
The
They're coming back.
defending state champions, and
The
they're gonna
defending
do them like that.
undisputed heavyweights. No respect. Yeah, some people, well, they got number 2. No, if you're a state champion, you're going into next season. I'm sorry, you're number 1, and you need to prove yourself that you're number 1. And if someone beats you, then you move down the rankings. But right here, they're number 2. They're coming back again.
Hey.
Fuel to the fire gives them that the ammunition to go out and be like, "We're back. Let's go."
And they get to play they get to do the whole season now with that on their shoulder, knowing that state had them at 2, go prove everybody wrong and come out with another state title. That's the way I see it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Those are your teams to watch. Look out for those. Again, if you feel your team needs to be out there and we need to watch, hey, get with your teammates, get out there, do your best, beat the best. These are the ones you need to beat here. These are the ones that are leading the way as we start this season. Okay. So we need you to show us why you are the best.
Looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. Got to give these cross-country boys a voice. But you know who else deserves a voice too?
Who is that, Ryan? Who is that?
The ladies. The ladies that are doing work on the court right now, and that is our volleyball girls. We said it before too, football at this time of the year is what gets all the acknowledgement. But you know what? We need to give a voice to these ladies as well, because they're out there grinding, they're doing work, they're doing the preseason, and they're doing stuff in the summer because their season starts a little bit earlier. So they deserve a voice as well, and that's what we're going to do.
Yes, they do.
So we'll go ahead and we'll start off with the volleyball soaring 7. Okay.
Volleyball.
Yes, sir. The Prep1 volleyball soaring 7. And again, I don't want to receive all the hate and everything. Ladies, if you feel you deserve to be on this list, then you show up week in and week out. On Tuesdays, on Fridays, when you have your games, you ball out, and when we hear about you, we're gonna recognize you. So
you see, and that's the thing, Ryan, is volleyball here in El Paso is also big. It's really huge. You said that we are big here in El Paso with volleyball, not just in the schools. We got so many club teams out there that go compete, not only here locally, they compete state, they compete regionally, they compete nationally. Okay. And we got a lot of talent out of here. And again, it doesn't have to just be out of these high schools. We also got to hear from you girls that are in those clubs. Show us what you got, show us what you're doing nationally as well. And we'll get you on here. We'll get you out there. We'll get you noticed.
Yep. So I'm going to go ahead and in no particular order, okay, these are just the soaring 7. These are the 7 to mention. The first one we got is Caroline Mann out of Coronado High School.
The T-Birds.
Yep. She's a senior. She's a setter, and she was one of the members of that area championship team last season, captaining this squad and really doing some big things. Okay. So, there's a lot going out there in the West Side. They've got some good volleyball players. Another one to watch in the rivalry school. Okay. Also staying in the West Side and Franklin High School. You've got Jordan Imperial. She's a junior outside hitter, and that is another program, out of Franklin. They're doing big things. She's going to do big things. She's already doing big things. Keep in mind, volleyball, they've already had, 1 or 2 games already?
I believe so. It's a second week already.
Yeah, so, they're already doing their work, but that West Side's got it down right now.
And what's beauty about it, Ryan, is that in volleyball, it's not like you play one and done. You play multiple times. So you're going to see these girls go at it multiple times this year. You're going to have more than just one chance to see them.
That's the great thing, too. When you get that rematch,
the rubber match, those are the highlights I like to watch.
Yep. And then you know what? Sticking to the West Side, right, or I guess downtown West Side, depends on what you want to call it, but just to show you how much talent is out there. Out of El Paso High School, you've got junior Diana Wong, both middle blocker and outside hitter. She kind of does it all. Only a junior and really making a name for herself, and she's really doing, a heavy load leading that El Paso High School team. It's tough all around. And you know what? She's going to have a stellar year this year. She already is working well.
She's already stellar. She's still got 2 more years to take that El Paso High School Tiger team to the
and
to the top.
elevate that game. Another one, you know, that's the good thing about volleyball and some of these other sports. You have schools that don't partake in different sports that do participate in some of these. So this girl is Hannah Ayala out of Emmanuel Christian High School. So, shout out to Emmanuel Christian. You know, there you go. They got a good little solid squad out there, and they've got a hell of an athlete in Hannah Ayala, senior, middle blocker. Okay, middle blocker, senior, getting ready to do some work in our volleyball soaring 7. Next up on the list is going to be out of Hanks High School. This is a duo sport athlete in Jalen Morrison. So I know a lot of you might have heard her name on the basketball court, but you know what? She's an outstanding hitter as well on volleyball. She's a senior. Look for her to be making a name for herself in these dual sports, but you know, just let you know that these dual sport athletes really get it done.
And to touch on that, Ryan, right there, I've always been a big proponent in this, is that these colleges, they don't want one sport athletes. They want multi-sport athletes, and she's proven it right there. She's a multi-sport athlete. She's a top athlete in both sports.
Yep.
That's what these colleges want. So you all out there, play the sports. Play all of them. Play as much as you can. Okay, don't just stick to one that you're good at. Do them all. That's what these colleges want. They want to look at these players that are multi-sport athletes because you guys are more valuable than anybody else.
Yep, I agree. Moving on our soaring 7, number 6, we got Lexi Salas. Okay, and get this, she's a sophomore out of America's High School. She is a setter. She also had a big game this weekend. Lexi Salas is someone that you need to keep an eye out for the next couple of years, because she's going to be doing some big things. Keep an eye.
Sophomore showing out this year.
Yep, exactly. So, hey, that goes to show you, doesn't matter what grade you're in, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. If you ball out, we're going to find you. We're going to recognize you. And finally, out in the reservation at Isleta High School, you got a junior, Mia Espinosa, setter. She had a big game. I believe they played Riverside this past weekend or past week. They had a big game. She had balled out. So, again, way to represent. And that also gives some of that Lower Valley, you know, some Lower Valley, some pride, some love, because that's where I'm from. So let's go Lower Valley, go. And before we, move on and everything, we've talked about our top volleyball teams, our soaring 7. But just again, like I mentioned, all these girls do work. They all do work week in and week out. So, every week, ball out, and let's see this list change week in and week out. I want to be able to recognize different girls, okay, every week.
Yes, sir.
So next up, we're going to give you our top volleyball teams to watch, okay? And again, this could be, change from week to week, but this is just the top teams that we feel you need to watch going into this season. Number 1 on the list is going to be Coronado High School. And we already talked about, they've got Caroline Mann, who's leading that team. They've also got a player, Ashley Macias, returning from that bi-district and area championship team. They're the nucleus of that team, and they're going to do big things. That is a dominance. And I tell you, that West Side, they breed volleyball players, because number 2 on our Prep1's top 5 is Franklin High School. Okay. Cougars are always a city powerhouse. They always build strong squads. They're always in the mix when it comes to the district championship race. And they've got a good, strong returners leading with Jordan Imperial, who we mentioned is one of our soaring 7 members. And you also got players like Nadia Peña. This team's going to do good, and I would look for them to really contend with Coronado for that district championship this year.
Yeah. And again, we said it, they are going to meet in the court multiple times.
Oh, yeah.
And not just regular season. Look for them in that district championship game. Look for them, deciding who's going to get that top spot in the playoffs.
And you know what? This better time than any to go ahead and highlight our volleyball game of the week, because
here we go.
You said it right now. They're going to meet multiple times a year, but right now on Tuesday, 6:30 at Franklin High School. Everybody needs to be out there because you've got the battle between 1 and 2 from the Prep 1's top 5, Coronado versus Franklin.
Woo,
on the volleyball
that's gonna
court.
be fun to watch.
That's going to be a fun one. That's going to be exciting. Everybody needs to be out there. I believe it's Tuesday, 6:30 at Franklin High School, Coronado, Franklin. So we'll be looking out for that one. Hopefully we get some great high-intensity games, couple sets out of that one. Let's see. Hopefully it goes to 5 sets. That would be great.
Oh, yes. Definitely.
Moving on to our number 3. Our number 3 volleyball team to watch is the El Paso High School Tigers. The Tigers are going to be, I mentioned, Diana Wong, that junior hitter, she's going to be leading that team, but they've got a good squad around them. And I tell you, these volleyball teams out on the west side, they're really doing work. They're making a name for themselves. But we drive all the way across to the east side of the city out in Horizon. You've got the East Lake Falcons as our number 4 team.
Ooh, here we go.
Yep. Hey, so East Side's getting some love too. East Lake Falcons had a really, really good 2021 season. They actually defeated Coronado and they won a by-district championship last year as well. So, this team,
here we go.
One to look out for, led by Caitlin Salgado and libero Tiffany, I believe it's Arguello. I don't want to butcher the name, so make sure I'm saying it right. But you know what? Good, strong group. The East Lake Falcons, our number 4 team, ready to do some work. And
Big State volleyball looking strong.
Oh, definitely. That's a tough classification to compete in, definitely. And finally, our number 5 team in the Prep 1's volleyball top 5 is going to be the Chapin Huskies. Chapin Huskies are a year in, year out playoff contender. They always do work. They're always going to be in the mix of things every year. They just got that solid squad, solid coaching. This year, they're led by outside hitter Cadence Johnson, and look for them to do big things like they've already been doing. So, these are our top 5. Again, these could change week in and week out, but definitely something to look out for. And like I said, go to the game of the week. Game of the week is already featuring the number 1 and 2 team on our Prep 1 top 5. Tuesday
6:30. Be there.
Franklin High School, Coronado and Franklin. That's where it's at. That's where all the action is going to be on this Tuesday.
Yes,
now,
sir.
You know what? I think it's that time, man. I think we're ready to get right into it.
Do it.
The sport that's really takes the cake and is really what everybody's talking about right now. Friday Night Lights, Boys of Fall. There's everything that you could say about this, but it's football season, and
this is Texas. Football's a religion. You already know that. It is just exciting. We have been waiting for this too long, and we're finally here. Finally made it. My favorite season of the year, football's back, baby. Football is back.
It's back, and I don't even know what to say, man. It's one of those where like you wait all year long, for all the sports, and you have all these different things, but there's nothing better than that Texas Friday Night Light football. Seeing the teams compete at the most raw of an individual athlete, but that's when they really compete because it means the most to them at this point. I love it. You know what I mean? I feel like at the higher levels, you lose a lot in the game because you have, at the collegiate level, you have NIL deals and things like that going on. At least as of right now, I know they're talking about trying to pass legislation and stuff that will let NIL deals be used for high school athletes. But for now, it's not about the money when it comes to these high school athletes. And, this is where they're really representing. So I think we'll start off with the weekly top 10 for football.
Yes,
what do you say? So,
yes, sir. Let's kick it off. Let's kick it off right now. Top teams, baby.
This is the top teams voted by several people within Prep 1. This is our Prep 1's top 10 going into week 1 for the Texas high school football season. Do you want to start it off?
All right, let's start it off right here. And again, this is our top 10. You need to go out there, get your teammates, get on that gridiron, Show us what you got. You deserve to be out on this top 10 list. Prove it. Prove it. This is the time to do it. Number 1, looks like we're back at that west side. Something in the west side water there, Ryan, is doing it. Franklin Cougars are our number 1 team currently on this top 10 list for Prep 1.
Hey, and they've got some ballers. Let me tell you, you got Shea Smith returning, taking over at quarterback. And you know what? He's got that NFL lineage in him. So Shea Smith is going to do some big things. And you know what? It's easy to do big things when you've got a wide receiver like Bo Sparks to be throwing to. That's going to be a deadly combo that their teams are going to have to stop this year. And then you've got a running back in Jaden Williams. They've got a lot of stuff going on for them. You know, not a whole lot of returners, but they've got a lot of firepower. You know, Franklin's not one of those teams that rebuilds. They reload. And I'm looking for them to reload and really show El Paso what they're made of.
They're going to reload big, and that defense also.
Do not let us down. Do not let us down.
No. That defense also out of that Franklin High School, they were a big part of last year. This year, they're another big part. They're going to be out there, make it tough for these offenses to really get it down the field. So it's going to be fun to watch those guys play.
But you know what, man? You know who has something to say about this?
Woohoo!
Another team out on the west side. Another team out on the west side.
Who could it be?
That is our number 2 team. Our number 2 team in the top 10, the Cañetillo Eagles.
Ooh, out there at Lowenberg Stadium, baby.
Hey, that blue turf.
Blue turf, exactly, the blue turf.
You know what? That is a team to look out for. You know, we've already said it. They've got one of our soaring 7 on them. You've got LJ Martin leading the way. We've got a strong defense anchored by Jesus Carrillo, linebacker. He's going to do big things. And then you've got TJ Lockett, up and coming. Prepare to hear his name, because I tell you, he's a young player, an athlete. It's going to be used all around the field, but he's gonna do some work this year. Keep an eye out, ear out, whatever you want to call it. But TJ Lockett's going to be making some noise out this year for
Cañetillo Eagles. That football out there, again, like I said, it's a religion, and they take that to the heart, because they're the only team in El Paso, in the UIL to make it that far. To make it almost, they were just shy. They made it to the semifinals, a few years ago, and they've been chomping at that. They want to do better.
Oh yeah, because that's the standard that Brooks has set out there. You know, that's the standard. You know, if that's where they can get, that's where they're going to be trying to achieve every single year.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, now for our number 3 team, we're going all the way to the east side. Who do we got?
We got the East Lake Falcons way out there on the east side. Look for them to do great things there.
Coach Ruben Rodriguez out there doing things. He's got a stellar defense out there, man. That to me is going to be one of the top defenses in the city. You've got Hector Hinojos. You've got Caleb Emery. You've got another Uribe brother. They are just stacked when it comes to the defense, and East Lake is going to be a tough team in 6A.
Oh yeah, they got the size, they got the speed, they got the attitude. They are going to be fun to watch this year.
They got the coaching too, man.
The coaching, definitely. But hey, coaching leads you there. Boys play the game.
That's true. That is true. And you know what? And sticking to the east side, our number 4 team on our top 10 is out at Pebble Hills, the Spartans.
Yes, sir.
These guys are led by a good group. You've got Gael Ochoa, quarterback, Gael Ochoa, and Jacob Ledesma, an athlete. And this boy is a killer athlete. You're going to see him at running back. You might see him at receiver. The boy can also throw the rock. So, you know, Torres got a lot going out there that he gets to work with. And then you've got players like Bobby Deal also. This team is really one that's going to be, in my opinion, any of these top 4 teams could end up number 1 when it's all said and done at the end of the season.
Definitely. And right off the bat, out of those top 4 teams, 3 of them 6A. So that once again, 6A is going to be fun to watch here in football.
Oh yeah. It's going to be tough. Every week is going to be one of those games to watch.
Yes, sir.
Number 5 team.
Number 5.
This one.
Keeping it in 6A. Once again, 6A is just going to be a freaking battle. You got the America's High School Trailblazers out there on the east side. These boys they're looking to make a name for themselves once again.
Yeah, and Coach Melton does a good job, though. Every year, it's one of those teams that, they might not get a lot of recognition, but, Melton does a good job preparing his guys. He does a good job getting his guys recruited. He really knows how to do it. He's a seasoned coach, and this year is no different. I mean, they've got a stellar quarterback in Mark Moore. Look for him. Everybody knows America's as that run first team, but you know what? Mark Moore can sling the ball, and look for him. He's gonna do a good job throwing the ball. He's got receiver and Anthony Miranda that he's gonna be able to, make some big plays to. And then you know what? When he gives the ball off, he's gonna hand off that ball to Caesar Drennan. Okay, another Drennan brother. So you know that football is just in their blood. They can do it. His brothers before him have done it, and you know what? America's is gonna be a team to be reckoned with.
America's is one of those schools that just produces, families of football talent.
Oh yes, for sure.
Oh yeah.
You got to be lucky to be Melton when you see, what's your last name? Drennan? Okay, got another one. Got another one to work with, right? You gotta love that. Number 6. Okay, keeping it in 6A. Now you've got the Eastwood Troopers. Okay, and you got Coach Julio Lopez out there trying to continue to, make Eastwood proud. You've got receivers like Curtis Murillo doing their thing. Quarterback Evan Minjares is going to be out there slinging the rock. Eastwood is one of those teams where year in and year out they breed good quarterbacks. That's just, to me, that's one of the quarterback U's out of El Paso.
Oh yeah.
And look for them to continue to, produce big numbers through the air. And the one thing I like about Eastwood, man, Coach Julio Lopez is not scared to schedule strong pre-district opponents. Let me tell you.
I was just about to say that, right? They want that competition. They want it. And
it only makes them better come, district and playoff time. They might have to battle through them scars in the beginning of the season, but no bigger test than who they got week 1. A little sneak peek at it, but I'm gonna throw it out there. Eastwood does have South Lake Carroll, so that's
the Dragons.
That's gonna be a tough test, but you know what? That's gonna be a test. It's gonna get these boys better prepared for the season, better prepared for the playoffs. Nothing you can say about that. That's a good job out there, Eastwood.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, I'll let you take this next one since we're going to your side of town now.
We're going to the northeast, baby. Northeast. Okay, you got number 7, Parkland Matadors. Matadors with a first-year head coach. First-year head coach here.
Leigh McWhorter. But you know what? Eric Franz left a good program in the hands of Leigh McWhorter. So it's not like he's really going to have to be taking over and rebuilding anything because he's got that core. He's got big boy Tyrone McDuffie anchoring the line. You got Isaiah Beasley getting ready to carry the rock, and he's going to do things like he did last year. You got DJ Crest that's going to be catching those passes. All you got to know is quarterback Eric Ortiz going to be the guy? Is he going to be the one that's going to lead him to victory? That's what I want him. That's my question. Is he the guy? Every year, I question who's going to replace this quarterback, but they always find somebody to sling the rock. So Eric Ortiz, we're looking at you. Are you going to be the guy that's going to, lead these Parkland Matadors to victory? We'll see. But that is our number 17. And I'll let you keep number 8 since we're going to stick to your side.
All right. Number 8, keeping it in the Northeast. Pretty much another rival of number 7 there. We got the Andress Eagles, the Golden Eagles of Andress at number 8.
Hey, Northeast, what can you say, man? They breed talent. You guys got talent out there. Andress always has talent. They've got D1 commit Malcolm Anderson going to Army West Point. They've got a stellar defense. They're going to be solid. Okay, that defense is going to be tough. Anybody that's facing them is going to have their work put out for them. And then you've got a veteran quarterback returning in Elias Duncan. So he's going to be the one that's going to have to lead that offense to the promised land. If he can put it together and that defense, hold strong the way they should be, Andrus is going to be one of those teams to be reckoned with.
Oh, definitely. And look for them to be at the top of that district come playoff time.
And I'm going to go ahead and take over the next two because now we're going to the Lower Valley.
Now we're in your neck of the woods.
My neck of the woods, the Lower Valley. We're going to go with our number 9 team, the Del Valle Conquistadors. Okay, I know, right? It just rolls off the tongue. Hey, Coach, Rudy Contreras out there doing his thing, taking over Coach Perales. And, the good thing about Del Valle is they've got consistency, man. Mm-hmm. They just consistently breed in new players, take over. They've got 7 returners on both sides of the ball, so they're going to do well. You got players like linebacker Dominic Alderon, who's going to anchor that defense and is going to do big things. And then you've got quarterback Jesse Ramos, who's going to come out there, hopefully be the one to lead that offense and consistently have Del Valle do big things. But you know what? That Del Valle Parkland game is going to be a big one to watch this upcoming season.
Definitely. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And staying in the Lower Valley, okay, the only 4A school to make our top 10, Prep1 top 10, is the Riverside Rangers. Riverside Rangers going to be led by Angel Speedy Munoz, who plays quarterback. Has also received some D1 offers from Army, and I believe it was Air Force, who have given it.
So, yeah. I think it was another military, yeah.
Yeah, another military academy. But, he's already got them to those 2 D1 offers, and you've got a stellar running back in Jose Guarardo. These 2 kids have been starting as sophomores for Riverside, so they know the system. They know what to do. Coach Gary Ricoder's got a lot to work with in those 2, and the offense is going to run through them. Keeping another piece of recognition, you've got lineman Devin Quintana, big boy who's going to lead the way for those guys. And on the defensive side of the ball, you got Derek Vasquez and Sebastian Ortiz. The Riverside Rangers are going to be a force to be reckoned with, especially in Class 4A. They were the team last year in 4A, but you know what? Something the Rangers got to look out for now is 4A looks a lot different this year than it did last year. I mean, that is one big story that I want to bring out, since we're rounding out the top 10 real quick is, hey, Riverside Rangers, you got to put in that work now more than ever because now you got the Austin Panthers to go through. You got the Urban Rockets to go through. You got the Bowie Bears, okay? So some unfamiliar opponents that you're going to have to prove yourself and make sure that you guys got what it takes. But I think they're going to get it done. They are our number 10 team. If you just real quick, I'll let you mention who were the 3 on the outside looking in. No particular order. These teams just missed the cut, but they're right there.
Yeah, these 3 teams, okay, when this Prep 1 10 came out, these were the 3 teams that just we couldn't decide as to all right, they're good enough, but are they? And that's where we want you to prove to us.
Yeah, are they for real?
Need to be. Exactly.
Or are they pretenders?
That's and Friday night is when we're gonna find out. And coming out right there, the first one to mention is Montwood High School, the Rams. Okay, Montwood has always been a powerhouse. All right, last year struggled a little bit, but they were still out there. They're still doing good. Okay, look for Montwood to really do some upsets.
Yeah, you got Isaiah Claudio out there carrying the rock. You got an Oaxaca brother. They've got players, but let's see if they put it together and show us.
Exactly. They need to. And you mentioned it right now, Ryan. You mentioned it with Riverside, okay? That 4A district is looking so different this year. You had, I believe it was 4 teams move down into the 4A district from 5A. Okay, one of them being the Austin High School Panthers. Okay, they are now in that district.
Jaden Wilson, baby, Jaden Wilson. He's got something to say, and he's going to prove it Friday nights.
Yes, and he's leading a group that is just chomping at winning this district. Okay. They did great. They did pretty good, over the years. This year, I think they got a real chance as to winning this entire district. Okay. But they have to go through Riverside. And I think it's going to come down to those two that you're really going to have to see. That's going to be fun to watch. Those two teams. And right now, Riverside, you really got your work cut out for you, because Austin, they are nothing to mess with at all.
There are no pushovers. Coach Pichardo has his teams prepared every week. They are disciplined team.
Discipline is the key word there. Discipline, yes, sir.
And another team right down the way from Austin Panthers, you got the Chapin Huskies. Coach Ron Warner's got, a good squad out there too. Just missed the cut, like I said. It's one of those things where, we need to see, is quarterback Evan Rivera going to be the key? Is he going to lead them to the promised land? He might be. He's got brother Anthony Rivera to throw to. So that Rivera bloodline, another thing they're going to be working with. They've got a good squad, but it's just one of those that we don't know if they are for real yet. Okay. So it's up to them. Are they going to show us? Are they pretenders, or are they for real?
And once again, this is weekly. So you need to get out there and prove to us. Those three we just mentioned, you are for real? Show us. Beat these guys. Montwood, you got the gauntlet to run right there against all these 6A top 10 teams right there. Prove it to us. Get out there. Show these teams what you got. Knock them off their pedestal, and you got this. Austin, get out there. You got that Riverside team that you need to go knock on their door and kick it down. Chapin, you got that 5A division. You got Del Valle right there. Then Parkland. Okay, you just got to get out there and just show us what you got.
Exactly. And you know what? We mentioned the teams. We mentioned who are the ones to look out for. But now we need to get into the individuals. Who are the ones that have been making noise? Who are the ones that we expect to be making some noise this year? So we're looking at our Prep1 Soaring 7 for football. The Prep1 Soaring 7. So again, and this is the one where I feel like we're going to be getting our DMs flooded with, why were we snubbed? Why were we snubbed? But you know what? You guys show it on the football field this Friday night, this Thursday night. Whenever you guys play your games, you show up on the football field, you guys ball out, and we're going to be recognizing you. Soaring 7, the 7 top performances week in and week out, you guys are going to be the ones on this list. These are the guys that we expect to have top performances for week 1 going into it. And I'll just go ahead and kick it off. Number 1, we have L.J. Martin, senior running back. We already mentioned him in our commitment list. We know he's the Stanford commit. So how can you not have a Stanford commit be the first person that you have ready to ball out? And you know what? He's got a tough test. He's got a tough test against the Pebble Hill Spartans. So let's be ready for it. But LJ, show out, ball out, and tell people, show people why Prep 1 chose you to be the number 1 in our Soaring 7.
Definitely. Number 2, you got there DJ Crest out of Parkland. Also mentioned him earlier, going out there to the Red Raiders of Texas Tech. He's going to be out there leading his team, leading that Parkland, that stout, strong Parkland team with the new head coach. He's going to be fun to watch. Look for him to do big things on the field all year long.
All year long. And you know what? Sticking with Parkland, we got our number 3 member of the Soaring 7. You've got Tyrone McDuffie. Tyrone McDuffie anchoring that offensive line. It's going to bust open some big holes for Isaiah Beasley to run through. But Tyrone McDuffie is going to ball out and also have a great game. That's who we're predicting. He is going to be our preseason Prep 1 Soaring 7 number 3.
Okay. Number 4, out of Austin High School, you got Jaden Wilson, running back, linebacker. Okay, look for him to lead them on both sides of the ball. Go get that district, get that playoff spot, go far, take those Panthers where they need to go.
And he's tough, man. He's one of those, when you watch him, you just know he's a tough player. He does not get pushed around. He's a stud. He's a stud, and Austin's got
real tough to bring down, real tough.
Number 5, out in the Northeast, senior out of Andrews High School, Malcolm Anderson. We talked about you, the Army commit. And, he plays both sides of the ball. He's an athlete. He's a wide receiver. He plays DB. Look for him to get it done on both sides of the ball. He's gonna do it big, and he's gonna be our number 5 and our top 7 soaring 7.
Yeah, and going in at number 6, you got Angel Munoz out of Riverside High School, the Rangers, the QB, the leader,
Speedy Munoz,
the general out on that field to lead. And the thing about this, I guarantee you, if you ask this kid, what's the hype about Riverside High School? Why is there so much hype right now? And he'll tell you, there ain't no hype. We're the real deal. And he's the reason why they're the real deal. He's one of the reasons he's leading this team. All these kids got this guy, and they're going to run down that field. They're going to make big things happen.
And the crazy thing about him, man, he can throw the ball, he can run the block. But one thing that many people probably might not know, and from what I've been hearing through the grapevine, is you might even see Speedy line up as a wide receiver this upcoming year.
Ooh.
Once in a while. They've got another quarterback who can throw the ball. And just so you're aware, Speedy's actually being recruited to play as a receiver in the collegiate level. So that's another thing that you might, be able to see, is that Riverside's got some weapons, and they can use this kid all around the field. So, be ready for that, because Speedy's going to show him what's up. Be ready for it. And number 7, to round out our Prep 1 soaring 7, number 7 on the list is Shea Smith Jr. out of Franklin High School. Franklin High School. What can you say about Shea Smith, Coach?
I mean, this kid, like I said, if you got to be a quarterback, you got to be a leader. Okay, you got to know where everyone's at and what everyone's doing. And this kid has it all. I mean, he could throw the ball, he could run it, he'll run you over. He's a good-sized kid. I mean, what more can you ask for out of a quarterback?
Exactly. And you know what? Again, this is our Prep 1 Soaring 7. If you are upset that you are not on this list, then guess what? You need to make sure that you change our minds on Friday night. You ball out. You have a great game. You'll be on our Soaring 7. We're going to acknowledge you every week. Be ready for it.
Do it.
But now's the time, man. Now's the time where we're going to go through every single game on the schedule. This is where it's going to be fun. This is what we live for, man. Football week 1 schedule. We're going to go through it all. Should we start with our game of the week, perhaps?
Ooh, who's our game of the week there, Ryan? Who's our game? Interesting. Who is that?
Okay, I will let you all know. Our game of the week is going to be Pebble Hills versus Canatillo, the Spartans versus the Eagles. Okay, this is going to be a battle. It's our number 2 versus our number 4. And guess what? This is going to be the game that both Jerry and myself will be at, okay? Prep1 Podcast is going to be out at the game. We're going to be covering it. We're going to be tweeting. We're going to be posting video clips of all the action going on between Pebble Hills and Canatillo. And we're going to be looking for whoever that athlete is in this game who's going to be our Prep 1 Game of the Week MVP. So whoever you are, we've got players, LJ Martin, we've got, Theodore Lockett, we've got Gael Ochoa, Ledesma, whoever it's going to be who balls out, who comes out on top, we're going to be looking for you, okay? We might even ask you guys to come out on next week's episode of the Prep1 Podcast, give us a little bit of an interview. So if you balled out that game, be ready for us to be contacting you guys. Make sure you have your DMs and things open on your Twitters so we can contact you guys and hopefully set up an interview whoever balls out each week, because that's what it's all about. We're going to highlight you guys. And, we keep saying it, but ultimately this is for the kids, making a name for yourselves.
Yes, sir. And that's going to be a fun game to watch. And again, we're going to be at this game. Ryan already mentioned that we're going to have our little cameras going off. But the rest of these games we're about to get into, you guys are the ones that are going to show us why we need to be at your games. If you feel, we're the game of the week, show us why. Send us your highlights. Send us your comments. Send us everything. And we will put you on this show and we will get you noticed.
And you know what? Since we're going to go through the whole schedule really quickly and go through who our predicted winners are,
Mm-hmm.
What if you say we up the ante a little bit here? What if we make a little bet on this to see who gets more of these right at the end of the season?
Interested?
Okay. I propose that whoever has the higher win percentage between you and I has to buy the other one a steak dinner from Ruth Chris.
So
You
you're
on?
gonna buy me a steak dinner, is what you're saying?
Yeah, we'll see about that, man. We'll see about that. You know,
I'm down. I'm ready. I'm down. Let's do it.
Hey, I'm ready for it. We're gonna run through our predictions. You know, some may be the same, some may be different, but you know what? It's part of the excitement. And let's start with the game of the week. Since we have it up here, let's post it. You've got Pebble Hill Spartans versus the Canatee Eagles, and I'm gonna go ahead and I am gonna say that the Eagles are going to take down the Spartans.
The Eagles
are. LJ Martin is going to lead the way. Pebble Hills does not have enough to stop this kid. They can slow him down, but he's going to get his touches. He's going to do his thing. And I think Canateo is going to come up on top. I've got the Eagles with the W.
You know what? I don't know. I think Pebble Hills is going to come out on top of that one. Okay. I'm not trying to play 6A favorites here, as everyone says, so no one can compete with these 6A guys. But you're talking about LJ Martin. He's a workhorse. He's going to be hard to stop. I think Bobby Deal can lead that defense and really, really make this kid work in his first week coming out. Okay. You got a lot of talent out there. Okay. But Pebble Hills, I don't know. I think they're just going to have the numbers. They're going to have the speed. They're going to have the athletes. I think it's going to come down to the wire. I'll give you that. It is. It's going to be a close one. But I think Pebble Hills is going to be the ones to pull it out.
All right. So right off the bat, and I'm writing it down. I'm writing it down as we do this.
As am I.
We're gonna agree to disagree, and we're gonna say Canateo Pebble Hills. So, you know, this is gonna be exciting. So we'll go right down the list. Week 1, you got Americas versus Midland Christian. Okay, so this is a tough one because Midland Christian, don't let the fact that it's a private school fool you. These guys are loaded. They always are loaded. They've got talent, and it's an opponent Americas is familiar with. They do a good job scheduling this tough out of town competition. But
this has become a little bit of a rivalry, in my opinion, because they've been playing each other for the past I want to say like 6-7 years.
I know I've seen them on the schedule. And
they've been playing each other for quite a bit.
And this is a home game for Americas.
Out at the sack. Ooh, out at the sack. All right.
But you know what? I feel like Midland Christian is one of those really talented teams, out in that Permian Basin. It might be a little too much for the Trailblazers to handle, and I'm gonna go with Midland Christian on this one. So
you know what?
MC for me, Coach Belton, I'm sorry. I'm just, prove me wrong. I'll be happy to eat my words is have you prove me wrong next week. But I'm going to go with Midland Christian.
I'm going to have to agree with you, Ryan. I do believe Americas is a top team. I believe they are great. They're good. They have everything going for them right now. But I just feel Midland Christian just has that slight edge over them. Okay, like you said, they're coming out of that Permian Basin, so they constantly compete against the likes of Midland Legacy. They compete against the likes of Odessa Permian.
I was about to say Midland Legacy. Who are we talking about here? But
I almost said their own name, but it's Midland Legacy.
That's right. I forgot about that.
That's who you got there. It's no longer the Friday night movie of Midland Lee Rebels. They are Legacy now. But this Midland Christian team, they are no joke. They year in, year out, they compete, and they are the top dogs in TAPS in the private schools. Okay, one of the top dogs there. So I'm sorry, but I agree with you, Ryan. I think Midland Christian are going to come over Americas this week.
All right. Okay. Next up, we've got the Coronado Thunderbirds at Chapin. This is a close one. Chapin's that team that we had on the outside looking in. Coronado, is a team with Mike Pry taking over, new coach. Coronado last year, I think they ended the season, was it 1-9? I believe in Mike Pry. I think he's gonna eventually bring them up, but I feel like Coronado is one of those programs that's got to build its way up, and
Yeah.
they're going to need a couple times. They're gonna have growing pains this year. I think so.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go with the Chapin Huskies. Huskies see the Rivera brother connection at work.
I agree there. I agree. Chapin should get this one. I don't want to say pretty easily, but unfortunately, Coronado, like you said it earlier, there's some teams that reload and some teams that rebuild. And unfortunately, right now, Coronado needs to rebuild back to where they were, back to that powerhouse program of 6A. I don't think they're quite there yet. So I think Chapin's going to come out on top on this one.
All right. I could see that. Next up, we have the East Lake Falcons and the Andress Eagles. So that's going to be, I think, one of those defensive stalemate matches. You're going to have two top defenses, but I'm going to be quick on it. I'm going Ruben Rodriguez and the East Lake Falcons taking down the Eagles.
You know what? I'm going to throw a little one out there. I'm going to throw a little, twist out there. I'm going to take Andress over East Lake. I'm looking for Andress to upset the East Lake Falcons. Okay. Just to get that edge, because I think East Lake is, one of the top teams here. I think they're great, but I think come week 1, anything can happen. You got more time to prepare for the team. You got more time to watch film. So I think Andress being one of those teams, it's another top 10 matchup. You got number 3 versus number 8. Okay. In this one, looking here, I think Andress is going to pull off the upset over East Lake Falcons.
I could see it, man. It's one of those close ones, but I like it. We'll see.
Yes.
Next game, you got the Eastwood Troopers versus the South Lake Carroll Dragons. Again, I love Julio for scheduling these tough tests early on in the year, but I think at the moment Eastwood's a little out of their league in this one, and I'm going to go with South Lake Carroll.
I agree. South Lake Carroll is one of those programs that's just every year their goal and their mentality is state champion. They don't even care about their district. As long as they get into playoffs, they're looking to go to that ring. And unfortunately, I don't think Eastwood can really stack up to South Lake Carroll at this moment.
Yeah, and I like it, though. I like that he schedules these tough tests, but it's just one of those that not yet.
Yeah.
Go ahead and mention the next game.
All right, you got Eldorado at Parkland, okay? This one, you got Parkland. You got those D1 commits. You got that new coach. You got all the hype. You got everything. Eldorado, you got all these kids out on the east side. Eldorado's one of those schools that had become the little, no one really wants to talk about. So they do got a chip on the shoulder. But I think Parkland is going to come out on top on this one. I think Parkland's just too fast, too big. They got a lot going for them. They're a freight train coming at you, and I just think Parkland's just gonna, steamroll over Eldorado in this week 1.
You know what? I can't complain. I'm gonna go Parkland as well, man. All the same reasons. We'll go Parkland. All right, going on, and we'll try to get this sped up a little bit because I know we're already like an hour and 12 minutes.
Gotcha. I just saw that too. All right, Here we go.
But we'll go. So Franklin and Centennial. Now,
Mexico, Texas.
I know Centennial is coming off a big win. They just beat out, I think it was Rio Rancho Cleveland, top team in New Mexico. But you know what? We're calling Franklin our number 1 team. So, and Centennial beat out the former number 1 team. So I'm going to go Franklin. Prove us right. Tell us, Franklin, can you handle the number 1 team in Mexico right now? I'm going Franklin over Centennial.
I agree. Franklin over Centennial, it's Texas football. What can you say? I don't think New Mexico football stacks up to Texas football. They're powerhouses. They're good over there, but I think Franklin's going to come out on top on this one.
All right. And then we got Mountwood versus Midland. Mountwood, like I said, they're a team on the outside looking in. And I know Pebble Hills, I believe, actually scrimmaged Midland this past week. And, Midland didn't look bad. They look strong. And I think, again, they're a team that's just going to be a little bit more prepped this early on in the season than Mountwood, but I think Mountwood can turn things around later on. But I'm going to go with Midland. Midland's going to be my pick. What about you?
I'm going to go with the El Paso squad here. I'm going to go with Mountwood. Okay, Mountwood, for whatever reason, they may be outside looking in, but they played good against these Permian Basin teams.
You want to start cooking my steak now, or you want to?
Whoa. You Rams out there. You hear that, you Rams?
I'm
Prove
just
them. Prove them
saying.
wrong. Prove them wrong right there, all right? I think
Okay.
Montwood could pull this off because, honestly, they play good against these teams out of the Permian Basin. They always compete against these guys, and they always – sometimes they win, sometimes they lose, but, they're always in the game. It's never a blowout, and I think Montwood can take this against Midland.
All right. Okay, next up, we got Socorro at Lubbock. So this is an interesting one, man. You don't see teams like Socorro really scheduling these out-of-town opponents very often. But you know what? I like it. I like the move. Again, though, Socorro is one of those teams that's still building up. They got work to do. So I'm going to go, even though I don't think Lubbock is as top team as they usually are, I'm going to go with Lubbock on this one until Socorro proves me wrong.
Yeah. Coach Gano out there, first-year coach out there, he's got a squad. So, it's kind of hard to tell where these guys are at, what their mentality is at. And Socorro has been trying to climb up that mountain, claw back into where they want to be. Lubbock has been wanting to, play an El Paso team. Socorro answered the call. So let's see what they got. But, I'm going to take Lubbock on this one.
All right. So we both got Lubbock. Okay. Next up on the list, we got Bel Air Irvin. This is a tough one for me, man, because Bel Air has not been, a powerhouse or anything as of late. So it's one of those that I'm not 100% certain on. Yeah. But Irvin is the same way for me. I'm not sure about them. I don't know what they have. I don't know who's going to really ball out. So this is one of those where both teams can really put a name for themselves and make a statement. And I'm going to go with Bel Air to make that statement. So
I agree. Urban's been up and down. Bel Air has both also been up and down. Urban is one of those schools that dropped down to 4A from 5A, along with Austin in that district. But I agree. I'm going to have to go with Bel Air on this one as well.
Okay. Next up, we've got Del Valle Burgess. Del Valle Burgess, that's another, top 5A teams, a good consistency. I think it's going to be a tough back and forth matchup. I mean, you've got Rutledge at quarterback with Burgess. You've got good, solid squads all around, but I'm going to pick Del Valle. I'm going Del Valle for the win on this one.
I'm going to go Lower Valley. I'm going to go Conquistadores as well. I think Burgess, they got a decent squad, but Del Valle is just one of those programs that year in, year out, they just got the talent, they got the kids, they got the mentality.
Next up, we got Hanks versus Bowie. So you got 4A versus 5A. This is going to be a tough one, Is Bowie a stronger 4A team? Hanks was one of the bottom of the barrel when it comes to 5A last year, but they do got Xavier Johnson, running back. He's a tough kid. To me, this is a good toss-up one. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Hanks Knights. Hanks Knights, and boy, you better not let me down, Hanks. You better not let me down because this was a tough one for me.
I'm gonna go with La Bowie. Okay, I'm gonna go with the Bears on this one because out of that South Side, those kids are tough. Every year they come out and they want to make a name for themselves. They want to, punch that ticket, and I think Bowie will come out on top over the Knights.
Okay. I can respect that. Let's see. Next up, we got Horizon and Jefferson. That was a good Horizon squad last year, but they lost a lot of players. They're only returning 4 people on offense and defense, and you've got a new coach. So that's a lot to take into account going into it. With that being said, man, I'm going with the Silver Foxes on this one. I'm going Jefferson Silver Foxes. Maybe that's an upset. I don't know if you consider an upset, but I'm going Jeff.
You know what? I think I'm gonna pick the upset. I'm gonna give Jeff credit here. Jeff has been up and coming football in the past few years. They've been doing pretty good. They're proving what the stigma was around Jeff was that you were the homecoming team, and they're no longer that homecoming team. Horizon, I think they're good. I think, they've had their up and down seasons, but, I think Horizon's going to pull off the upset here and beat Jeff.
All righty. Okay. Next up, we got Isleta and Riverside. Nice little battle pride of the Lower Valley. You know what? But I think for this one, I think Riverside just got too much offensive firepower, and I don't know if Isleta has enough to stop it all. Isleta's got a good squad. I just don't know if they can stop the offensive firepower of Riverside. So I'm going with the Rangers, Riverside.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to go with the Rangers too. I just don't think Isleta is just quite there yet to Riverside standards. Riverside is starting to get back to with their old ways, and they're looking great this year.
El Paso High and Gadsden is up next. Okay, Gadsden, I think they played I forgot who it was, Roswell or it was somebody that they played this past week. They took a loss. They got that game under them already, but El Paso High does return their quarterback. They did get a very good running back as a transfer in, so he's going to be one of those players that you're going to need to be looking out for. And you know what? I think Coach Aguilar out there at El Paso is putting them in the right direction. I'm going to give El Paso Tigers the win in this one. El Paso over Gadsden.
I agree. I think El Paso High, they were rebuilding. They're now reloading at this point. Okay, and I think, they're look for them to make a name for themselves a little bit this year. I think they're going to get it over the Gadsden Panthers.
Awesome. Now we got the Austin Panthers versus Fort Stockton. This is going to be at Fort Stockton. Fort Stockton is usually a well-coached team. They usually do it together. I can't say too much because I don't know what Fort Stockton has this year. So I'm going to go with the El Paso squad in this one, and I'm going to say Austin over Fort Stockton.
I'm going to say Austin too because, like I said earlier, Austin is just one of those teams that they've got a program going now. They're starting to come up, and I think they're going to really do well being in a smaller district of 4A now.
I you know what? It's one of those things that this was a blessing, I think, for Austin in a way.
Exactly. Yes, it was.
Now going up, I think we got, who is that? Sanelli and Anthony. Sanelli's out of Eagles and Anthony.
Cross-town matchup.
Yeah, I know, as cross as you can get, You know what, though? You know what? Anthony's got Raven Hernandez, returning running back, tough kid, and they've got 7 returners on offense and defense. And I feel like they're going to be hungry and they're going to make a name. I'm going, call it an upset or not, but I'm going Anthony.
Really?
I'm going Anthony, the Wildcats.
Okay. Honestly, Sanelli, they haven't been strong in football, okay, but neither has Anthony. Anthony, they've had their years and up and down, okay. I think Sanelli's going to pull this one off. I think Sanelli, it's a good week 1 matchup, but I think Sanelli's going to come out on top on that one.
All right. Next up, we got Clint and Hershey. So again, Hershey, a pretty well-coached team, perennially is one of the better teams. I like Clint, scheduling, some tougher opponents, and they kind of, because of the district that they're in, it's what they're forced to do. I'm actually going to go with Hershey on this one, though. They're usually a well-coached squad, and I think they might have a little more than Clint. So I'm going to go with Hershey in this first matchup.
Clint, they're one of those teams that just like to come out and hit you in the mouth. They're scrappy. They're always in it. But yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. I think I'm gonna go with Hershey on this one. I think Hershey's just gonna have the numbers and just overall they're a little better.
All right. Ooh, and I'm running out of room on my paper here, putting our picks down. But okay, we're good. We got a backside to the paper. Okay. Right. Next up, we got Fabens versus Chaparral. And you know what? I'm not going to say too much about this one. I think Fabens is a step above Chaparral. I'm going Fabens.
I agree. I'm going to go Fabens again. That's that Texas football, baby. Texas football over New Mexico, it's always going to dominate.
Yeah, and you know what? New coach out there doing some things. So you know what? Fabens going to be one to wreck with. I can see it happening. Mountain View versus Alpine. That's an interesting one. Mountain View is always that scrappy team. Alpine, they usually have a good team too, though. But I don't know what to go with here. You know what? I'm going to ride with the Lobos. I'm going to say Mountain View.
You say Mountain View? You know what? Alpine has always been out there, beating up on these teams when it comes down to it. Mountain View, they're, again, another scrappy group of kids. I think I'm going to go Alpine on this one. I think Alpine's going to come out on top. I think Mountain View right now is not really there, but maybe, who knows, at the end of the season, they get a rematch and, we'll see what we got there.
Sounds good. Last two now. We got Tornillo versus Morton at Morton. Now, I don't know too much about Morton, to tell you the truth, but I do know Tornillo football-wise, when they travel outside of the area, it usually doesn't end up too well for them. With that being said, I think I might have to go with Morton on this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Morton too on this one. You said it perfectly. Tornillo has been struggling.
And then the lone private school 11-man football program in the city, you got Cathedral at Hot Springs and TRC Hot Springs. This is kind of two teams around the same level. Really, I think it'd be one of those where you flip a coin. And let me see. I just flipped the coin. I got it. And we got Cathedral on this one. So I'm going to go with Cathedral for the win on this one.
Again, I'm going to argue Texas over New Mexico. I'm going Cathedral on this one. They've had their struggles, but you can't mess with Texas football, baby.
That's right. You can't. And this is a pretty intense schedule for the week one of Texas high school football. Let's not forget, I'm excited too. We're going to be covering Pebble Hills and Canutillo. So we're going to be out there in Canutillo. Go ahead and look for us. This is going to be a good one. I'm excited for it, but I'm excited for the fact that football, volleyball, cross country, all these sports are back. Pandemic aside, things are starting to get finally back to the, I guess, norm, if you will. And, I think that's something to be said. We've had a lot of struggles in the last, couple of years when it comes to these types of things. And this is something that I think is several years in the waiting. But I want to thank everybody for listening. If you've listened this long, thank you for tuning in to the Prep1 Podcast, episode 1. And I know the episode was long, but we had a lot to cover, preseason stuff, to touch every single sport and give every single one of you a voice. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter, same handle, at the Prep1 Podcast. Make sure that you guys like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube.
Send us your videos. Send us everything.
Highlights, everything like that. We're going to try to put highlight videos together. So if you guys have good clips and things like that, post those and send them to us. Like I said, DMs are open, and we're going to be waiting for you guys. Thank you for listening to us. And Jerry, if you got any last things to say, go ahead and mention it.
Everyone, all you kids out there, ball out. That's all I got to say. Ball out.
All right. Thank you. Till next time.